Hi everybody, Melissa here, back again with feeding schedules for formula-fed babies between 4 and 6 months. We're going to walk through this with you guys. Again, I did not formula feed at this stage, but I have done a lot of thinking about it and applied some of the things that really worked for me and laid them out here for you guys. So I'm going to put up a lot of graphics to walk through exactly how much and when you might want to try to feed your baby in case you're interested in being on a schedule the way I was. Okay, what are the guidelines for a formula-fed baby? At this stage, the general guideline for how much formula your baby should be eating is between 6 and 8 ounces at every feeding. These are just ballpark amounts, but they do give you some guidance. Under AAP guidelines, a formula-fed baby will be eating about 6 to 7 ounces by month 4. By month 6, your baby might be up to 8 ounces, but this will be about as much as he or she will probably drink. If your doctor is happy with your baby's weight gain, you don't need to worry. Another way to calculate how much your baby should eat is to multiply the weight of your baby by 2.5, then divide that total number by the number of feedings your baby has every day. So let's take an example. Assume your baby weighs 14 pounds and is eating 5 times a day. 14 times 2.5 equals 35 ounces. That is the approximate amount of food your baby will eat over 24 hours. Then divide 35 ounces by 5, the number of feedings per day, and you'll get the amount per feed. In this case, 7 ounces. Again, this is a totally general guideline. Every baby is going to eat a different amount. Every baby is going to grow at a different rate. It's all very unique, but these are sort of ballpark figures so that you can kind of guesstimate early on how much you think your baby might be needing. And of course, you'll be looking at this all very carefully with your doctor. Okay, so once your baby is around 4 months of age, you're going to want to try, I did at least, if you're interested, keep watching. You're going to want to try to get her onto some sort of a schedule so that you have a good idea of when she's eating, when she's napping. You can start to plan your life accordingly, deal with your pets, deal with your job, deal with your older kids. So what does a schedule look like for a formula-fed baby between 4 and 6 months of age? Let's assume that she's eating every 4 hours and that she's eating around 5 times a day. What is your schedule going to look like? Let's assume that we're starting in the morning with a 7 a.m. feed. Okay, let's walk through this. She's going to eat at 7 a.m., 11 a.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m., and 11 p.m. Basically, again, you're feeding every 4 hours and you're feeding 5 times a day. Okay, so hopefully between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. in the morning, you're hanging out, having fun, watching TV, or you're with your partner doing something on the romantic side, or you're getting some sleep, okay? Now, how do I incorporate the naps within this feeding schedule at this stage? It's way too premature for the baby just to be on 2 naps a day at this point or 1 nap. So you're going to have to incorporate the naps into this feeding schedule at this stage. How do I do that? What I have done and what I did at this stage is if my baby was eating every 4 hours, I put my baby down to sleep around 2 hours after each of those feeds began. So what is this going to look like? Here you're going to go. You're going to start at 7 a.m. You're going to do your first feed. And then you're going to do a 1.5 hour nap about 2.5 hours after the baby first fed. So if the baby first eats at 7 a.m., from 9:30 to 11 a.m., the baby is napping. You're going to feed again at 11 a.m., and then about 2.5 hours after that, your baby's going to go down for another nap. Okay? 3 p.m. is your next feed, and at this point, I would do a smaller, shorter nap because you're getting close to the end of the day, so maybe put her down from about 6 to 7. 7 p.m. is going to be your last feed. Your baby's going down to sleep by around 8:30 or 9 p.m. if you can, and now 11 p.m. is going to be your top off or your final feed. Okay, so in an ideal world, between 11 p.m. again and 7 a.m., you're having some fun, you're watching TV, you're doing something romantic, or you're sleeping. Now, I have another video on introducing solids. Some people do introduce solids before 6 months of age. Watch that video, and once you do introduce solids, you can just incorporate that into the feeding schedule that I've set forth here, and you will give the solids either before or after you've given the formula. Okay, so that's it for this video.